Jake was always a super awkward, super quiet kid. If we hang out, I usually don't talk very much, I just listen. My main form of entertainment growing up was always YouTube. I was making probably 20K a month at that age. So I thought I was on top of the world. But then I get this email from this dude and he said, you're definitely working too much, Jake. And you should turn this into an actual business, hire an outsource, or else you're eventually gonna get burnt out. One thing I always say is being different is better than being better. The secret to life is just to find a really good teacher that you trust. A really good quote from Taoism is, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is truly ready, the teacher will disappear.
Guys, today we sit down with a 25-year-old YouTube sensation known for his thought-provoking videos on business, politics, and beyond. With over 1.8 million subscribers, his journey has not been without controversy. Join us as we dive into his upbringing, his rise to fame, and the controversies that have sparked heated debates within the YouTube community and beyond. Jake, welcome to MBH.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, it was a pleasure, man. I appreciate it. You flew out. You flew out to come hop on the pod. I appreciate that.
Totally.
Got a California boy here with us.
Yep.
In Miami. I love it.
I think for anybody who doesn't necessarily know you or maybe hasn't seen your channel, just a brief intro of yourself, how you'd break down who you are, what you do, and we'll get into it from there.
Yeah, so I've got a few channels right now. All of them are in a documentary format, and the main channel named after me, Jake Tran. We make documentaries on money, power, war, and crime. And just basically like any controversial thing you could think of, we've probably made a video on it. I've also got a second channel that I'm really proud of called Evil Food Supply, where it's more focused on exposing how bad our food supply and other stuff related to food is in America.
That's been huge recently.
Yeah, it's really blown up. And really happy to be a part of that. And I also have a third channel called How to Get Away With It, where it's kind of like true crime, but focusing a little bit more on the legal side of things. Okay. Like we made a video on Epstein, on how O.J. Simpson got away with it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a really fun channel. And we have another video coming out probably on Diddy on that channel.
Wow.
Nice.
So it should be good.
So you haven't had, like, before we get into it, you haven't had to deal with any like censorship of any sort with those sort of topics?
So YouTube, for the most part, I would say YouTube is the best platform out there in regards to censorship.
Okay.
They at least try to be somewhat transparent about it versus TikTok, where they literally just say in their terms of service that they'll shadow ban you for whatever reason. YouTube at least tries to be at least somewhat balanced. They don't get it right, obviously, all the time. Yeah. But they're pretty clear on what they allow and what they don't allow. Okay. So I just follow the terms of service. And for the more controversial stuff, sometimes I'll have to age restrict the video manually or just turn off monetization manually. Because if that happens, if you post a video and they end up demonetizing it or age restricting it because they found that you violated their policies, that hurts your channel's reputation. True. Where they might not trust you to be monetized in the future. Yeah. So for more controversial videos, or if I make a video on war that shows a lot of violence or something like that, I'll just manually restrict it like that.
But even like the Epstein one, like you didn't get anything off that? Like anything bad in terms of censorship?
That one might have gotten demonetized.
Okay. But you're saying you kind of set it up in a way where you don't even monetize it to begin with. You age restrict it.
Yeah, for the really controversial stuff. Yeah.
True. We never even thought of that, to be honest.
Well, because I think when people post on YouTube and they create content for the channel, like obviously the idea is to monetize.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. But we've had political figures, and sometimes it, you know, depending on what phase we're in the year, the election, whatever it might be, we've experienced censorship before, for sure. I mean, recently too.
Yeah.
Probably like 4 or 5 episodes ago. But yeah, I just wanted to know that because it's super interesting that you were growing. You've grown so much without having to really deal with that at all.
Yeah, another tip is to avoid the super, super hot button issues while they're still super, super hot. Like, you know, while the pandemic was happening. Yeah. That's another thing I've had to play around with.
True.
Yeah.
So even with the Diddy thing, you're going to wait a bit maybe. I've seen some on YouTube already, some videos.
I think that one should be okay.
Yeah. I think you'll be all right. Okay, so you're 25 years old.
Yeah.
When did you first get into the game? Like what was Jake like as a kid?
Jake was always a super awkward, super quiet kid. Like if we hang out, I usually don't talk very much. I just listen. Yeah. That's just always how I've been. Okay. And my main form of entertainment growing up was always YouTube. we didn't have cable. So like from the very beginning, like middle school, high school, I was always obsessed with YouTube. I had my favorite YouTubers. And in high school, I started watching videos about YouTubers explaining how their business works, how they make money. And I got super obsessed with trying to become a YouTuber because I thought it was so cool that you could make money doing something so fun. You know, just having fun on camera, getting free stuff, having fans. So my favorite YouTuber at the time was Linus Tech Tips. And Marcus Brownlee.
Okay.
The tech YouTubers. I didn't have any expertise back then besides Taekwondo. If you guys seen the Schultz podcast, Taekwondo?
Yes.
Yeah. So I made a Taekwondo channel. Did not go well. I got like I can't remember, like 2 or 5K subs in 1 or 2 years, which is pretty bad. I remember getting a paycheck for like $100 or $200 every 3 months because that's the threshold before YouTube pays you out. So it didn't work out. So I took a break, went to the traditional route, went to college, became a web developer, dropped out once I got the web development job, and then got bored of that instantly. So I decided to give YouTube one more try and just went all in. And I knew that I read the book, The One Thing, at the time. And I knew that if I really wanted to make this work, I would just have to burn all my bridges. So I quit my job, went all in, struggled for like another year until I finally came across the style that I have now. And once I created this like documentary video essay style, that's when things started really blowing up.
And how old were you at that point?
I was probably, all the years kind of just blended. Kind of like, I want to say 22 maybe. 22, 21. Yeah.
And,
so like right before pandemic, I guess, like maybe.
Yeah, before.
And you say like for a year you struggled, and in that year were you trying different content styles, or were you trying to stay consistent with one thing?
Good question. So I think one of the biggest myths in content is that if you just be consistent, you'll eventually blow up. I think Gary Vee means well, but when he says stuff like this, but I think it's only half of the story. You have to be consistent while trying new stuff, while constantly experimenting. Because no matter how many times you post the same bad video, it's always going to be a bad video if you don't change anything about it. No matter how much, I can't remember what I was about to say, but yeah, you have to
consistency.
Yeah,
like it's not just about consistency.
Yeah, plus experimenting and trying new stuff.
Yeah,
or else, like the definition of insanity is trying the same content over and over again
and expecting different results.
Yeah,
yeah. I asked because I feel like a lot of people. Yeah, I mean that whole like consistency mindset or way of doing things, especially in the content world, is heavily pushed. Like you said, Gary Vee's one of those guys. But it's like, yeah, if you post the same type of content for a year straight, it doesn't mean by the end of the first year, it's like, oh well, people are gonna start watching it. If it fucking sucks, it sucks.
You have to adapt as well, and you have to see what works.
Yeah, you have to be very intentional about it. And the way I did it was I read the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy. It teaches you how to go into any crowded industry and carve out your own unique blue ocean where people only have the option to go to you versus competitors. So I basically just followed that book and applied it to the YouTube space. I looked at, because before I was just copying the YouTubers I liked and I wasn't giving people an inherent reason to watch my videos over theirs. And YouTube really is a battle of if your video gets shown on the homepage next to an established YouTuber, is it different enough for people to actually click on yours versus the established YouTuber that they already are used to watching? So one thing I always say is being different is better than being better. So let's say you want to make a channel and somehow you copy your favorite YouTuber, but somehow you know that you can make your video 10% better than theirs. So objectively, your video is 10% better than theirs. But if that video is shown on the homepage versus theirs, and their video has 100K views or 1 million views, and your video has like 10 views from a name people don't know, from a profile picture people don't recognize, but the title thumbnail is just as good, if not a little bit better than theirs, they're still gonna win every single time. So that's why I say you have to be different more than just being a little bit better.
Okay. So then this kind of documentary style, like about war, crime, all that stuff, like how did you get to that? And how many things would you say you tried prior to that? Because I think quickly, for some context for people, like these videos are averaging way over 1 million views. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It varies, but yeah, many of them are over 1 mil.
Okay. And how many subscribers?
1.8, almost 300K on the second channel, so over 2 mil.
Yeah. Okay. So you were able to build this. How many things did you try prior to it finally kind of clicking?
I would say like two major tries, like the Taekwondo channel and what I was doing before, the documentary style. And then once I came up with the documentary style, it still took like a few more videos before it started blowing up. So at least over 3 or 4.
Okay.
And those were pretty drastic changes each time. It wasn't like I was just changing one small little thing every single time.
And okay, and when you say blowing up, because everyone's blowing up is different.
Yeah.
Right. So what was blowing up for you when you like? What change happened where you go, okay, this finally worked?
Okay. So yeah, I came up with this style by blending together a bunch of different niches I liked on YouTube, like the business make money niche plus video essays where they would break down movies.
Okay.
That's where I got the use of movie scenes from. And other like higher production B-roll animated channels like One Over Productions or whatever.
Okay.
And I kind of combined all of it into this style that talked about money, power, crime that no one's ever done before. So if you wanted videos on money, power, crime that were like high production quality, there was only really me to go to. So one of the first videos I made in this documentary style that wasn't about like money, the darker stuff, was a video about Graham Stephan, about how he, his journey, how he blowed up. I posted it. It didn't do anything spectacular, but I shared it with him. And he happened to read the message and watch the video, and he was blown away at the quality.
Wow.
So he shared it on his Instagram. And from then on, the video got to 100K views in a few weeks.
Okay.
And it kind of kept snowballing from there. The videos I posted afterwards didn't do as well, but now I had something that worked, and I kept refining it from there. Eventually, I watched a documentary on war profiteering. It might have been that or a book on banking. I can't remember which one is first. But I consumed one of these things. I was like super blown away. But I thought that if I were to make a video on war profiteering, who would be interested in this? Only nerds like me would be interested.
That's what you think, right?
Yeah. So I made it anyways, just to scratch my own itch. And that video ended up being one of my best performing videos ever at the time.
Okay.
So I kind of kept going down that rabbit hole because these were things I was genuinely interested in anyways. Like I always wanted to learn how war and stuff works.
Yeah.
So I kind of just kept going down the path. And that's kind of how the channel evolved to what it is today.
Okay.
And in terms of like a video doing well for you at that time, how many subscribers are we talking? Let's say when you do the war profiteering video, how many subs do you have and how many views does it get?
I was probably in like 10 to 20K subs.
Okay.
Not very big. I can't remember for sure. View wise, it was probably like 100K, 200K pretty quickly. Again, a little hard to remember.
Yeah.
But it was very good for where I was at.
No, for sure.
And what are the insights that you're looking at to like decide if something's working or not? I know there's views, obviously.
Yeah. So everyone talks about click the rate and watch time when it comes to YouTube. I think it's a little bit overrated because myself and a bunch of other people with channels come to me and say like, hey, this video has a really high click the rate and high watch time, but it's not getting views for some reason. That happens a lot. So I think the YouTube algorithm is more complex than that. And I think it comes down to how much emotion your video elicits.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I gauge my videos now. I don't really look at watch time or click the rate.
Okay.
I look at the title, thumbnail, and the video itself to see if it elicits emotion. And you can only do that if you come at it with a fresh pair of eyes and some other stuff that I can talk about. Because if you think about it, why do we take out our phone and open up social media or Instagram or YouTube or whatever?
Yeah.
It's usually because we're bored. Only a very small portion of the social media audience out there opens up an app because they want to learn something. If that were the case, every college lecture video on YouTube would have millions upon millions of views.
True.
But they have the lowest amount of views even though they have the most information, the most valuable information you could say. So what's the difference between those videos and the videos that actually blow up? The videos that actually blow up and go viral elicit a lot of emotion out of you because you take out your phone because you're bored, and your goal subconsciously is to get as far away from boredom as possible. So the further your video takes the viewer away from boredom in whatever direction, it can be happiness, gratefulness, sadness, anger, whatever emotion you elicit, if you take them away from boredom as much as possible, those are the videos that blow up. So to answer your question, what I look at now is I try to look at my video with a fresh pair of eyes, or I send it to my friend, and we just turn our brain half off, because that's the state you're in when you naturally watch social media.
True.
You're not like overly intellectualizing it.
Yeah.
And we ask ourselves, like, did this video elicit emotion, or were we just bored, or was like the hook boring or something like that? And I found that to be the best route.
Wow.
So there's no really like specific YouTube quote unquote analytic that you're too focused on. You're more thinking about just like how the way the video is gonna make somebody feel.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, YouTube has an incentive to promote videos that are good. Because the longer people watch, the more money YouTube makes. And so the YouTube algorithm tries its best. It's not perfect. It tries its best to be a reflection of what viewers actually want to watch.
Okay.
So I go back to that level.
Okay.
Instead of like focusing on the numbers.
And like, how about like, you know, when Mr. Beast says like, I changed my thumbnail 40 times for one video. Like, do you take that into consideration, those things?
Oh, I still do that.
Yeah.
Like when you post a video, YouTube tells you like, hey, this video did like #1 of the last 10.
Yeah.
If it's like 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or something like that, I'll still change the title thumbnail.
Okay.
That's still definitely worth it. But again, it's a reflection of how much emotion the title, thumbnail, and video elicited.
Yeah, but that's interesting what you said. Like if it's 9th or 10th, you're probably going to change something.
Yeah. So I have a coaching program now where I teach people how to create a faceless channel.
Okay.
And the most underlooked thing students do, even though I really emphasize it, is the title, thumbnail.
Okay.
Just because that's the entry point into the video. Because like on TikTok, you don't consciously choose what video comes next. You just swipe. But on YouTube, you have to make that conscious choice. True. Between like 10 videos on the page, which one am I going to click on? So that's why the title thumbnail is so important on YouTube.
Yeah, and I've seen your thumbnails; they're killer, bro.
I appreciate it.
We were looking at them.
We were just talking before you got here. We're like, damn.
Our shooter's like, man, he must be paying whoever's making these thumbnails a lot of money.
I can give you guys some tips afterwards.
Of course, but so what would you say is the most important aspect to it? The way someone feels about the video?
Yeah, like,
because your videos are also different. Let's say compared to a podcast, would you still look at it that way?
I think it always comes down to emotion.
Okay.
Because even if you watch a good podcast, it still makes you excited.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you start with these videos now: war, crime, power, and it's working. And you're full time with this at that point.
Yeah.
And the people around, like family around you, anyone around you, looking at you, saying, "Hey, you're doing YouTube. That's the plan here, bro."
Yeah. Well, I quit my job, and you know, Asian parents. I had
to say, right?
I had their dream job, like
Yeah.
a tech job that was like stable and stuff, and I was working remote too at a very young age. I think I was like 22 or something, or 21. I was making really good money for my age too. So to quit that, it like devastated my mom. Sure. My dad was surprisingly okay with it.
Yeah.
So they knew I was trying to do YouTube. But you know, once the money started rolling in and I was making more than my old job, they were like completely on board.
How long do you think you started making money, like from that video, let's say with Graham Stephan?
I would say, I don't know, maybe 6 months.
6 months after that?
Maybe less.
Yeah, maybe
I can't
less.
remember.
And do you remember like your first big check where you're like, oh wow, this is kind of crazy?
I actually don't.
No.
I remember our first sponsor.
Okay.
Who was it?
I think it might have been Extra Wallets. I still have it right now.
Okay.
Sick.
It's a big paid ad here. Here you go.
Little smart wallet.
Oh, dope.
I think this is the original one I had. And they paid me like a few $100. Wait, I can't say that. they did not pay me very much money, but I was so excited to get like a free wallet and some cash.
Yeah.
And they got a really good deal on it. So that was really exciting.
Okay, cool. And then I guess up until then, like you're doing everything yourself, editing, production, everything?
Yeah, I was doing everything myself, and I quickly learned that I I mean, it was pretty insane. It would take me 5 to 6 days to make a video all on my own because I was doing everything
I was
myself.
just about to ask you that.
And that's
Yeah.
like all day you're working.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 10, 12-hour days.
Fuck.
Well, because your videos are super descriptive. There's a lot of information that needs to be poured out, and also like the type of information you're putting out, you can't really like it can't
Well,
really
it
be
requires
false.
research. Yeah.
yeah, like you don't want to put out falsehoods, right?
Yeah, and on top of that, every second is edited.
Yeah,
Versus like something like this where it's just cut.
Yeah.
So it's a lot faster. So it was a lot of work. And I thought, I mean, I was making like probably like 20K a month at that age. So
Wow.
I thought I was on top of the world. But then I get this email from this dude. His name was Arvid.
Okay.
And he said he was the president of Jordan Belfort's companies, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
okay.
And he wanted to talk to me on the phone for some reason. So I took the call, and we started talking because he liked my content. And eventually, through our conversations, he was like, "You're definitely working too much, Jake, and you should turn this into an actual business, and hire an outsource, or else you're eventually going to get burnt out because that's what happens to most people on YouTube. They eventually get burnt out." And at first, I was very resistant to it, and I had every single limiting belief you could have as an artist. Like, no one can edit better than me. No one can write better than me.
classic.
How could I ever train this?
Yep.
But he eventually got through to me. Some of the things he said was, why do small businesses stay small? Like, why does the mom and pop shop down there never expand to the reach of like a McDonald's? It's because they have these limiting beliefs that no one can do it better than them. So they like cling on to everything. And that's why they will always stay small versus something like McDonald's, where they create a system that produces the same burger for you, no matter if you're in Miami or Japan. And that's why they're the biggest one out there and they make the most money. So he explained that I should do the same thing.
Okay.
Obviously, like higher quality than McDonald's, but I should do the same thing where I create a system that pumps out videos of the same quality for me,
Yeah.
taking me out of the process.
Okay.
So once he came into my life and explained that to me, I started slowly outsourcing everything. And the way I did it was I started with the easiest stuff first. So today, I'll fast forward to today, where I used to do everything myself, but today I only pick the video idea. I review the outline of the video from the writer. I review the final script. For my channel, I record my voice, obviously. And then I review the final edit. I give some direction on the thumbnail to my designers. And I pick the final one. And that's pretty much it.
Wow.
So,
Dude,
So from 6 days, it probably takes you what now? Maybe 8 hours, 7 hours?
for one single video, I don't even think that much.
Wow.
wow.
Few
But it's
hours.
true. It's like you said, like a lot of creatives out there, they don't want to give up that creative authority that they have over their work because there's ego attached to. Sometimes, like you said, there's no one that's going to do it better than me. And that's why they stay small, right? I was going to ask you what you did first. Like, what was the first person you hired?
Yeah. And another point on that is another thing that really helped me get past these limiting beliefs was that I was doing everything myself. So I was only spending a few hours on each part of the process, like video editing, writing, thumbnail. There's 8 billion people on the planet. So if one person can spend 8 hours a day video editing and not mixing their tasks up, they can probably do it better than me.
Yeah.
And there's many people like that.
Yeah.
An endless amount. To answer your question, I started outsourcing. It was still very intimidating to me. So I started outsourcing the easiest stuff first, the least intimidating stuff first. So I got a VA, a virtual assistant, and then I outsourced the audio editing. So I record my videos into a mic without video, and then I just do one long take of the script with like mistakes in there.
Oh, so you just edit it out?
Yeah, so the audio editor cuts that down into the final voiceover file. So I started with that. That was pretty good. And the way this guy Arvid, my advisor now, he taught me was to outsource. You want to write an SOP, like a standard operating procedure, an instruction document, and you want to make it so specific that's impossible to mess up. That anyone, as long as they have a baseline understanding of video editing software, for example, as long as they can read English and they can have baseline knowledge of the video editing software, they should be able to output a pretty quality Jake Tran video every single time. So that's kind of what I did to outsource. I started with the easiest stuff first, and then I moved on to the video editing. My videos are pretty complex, so I started outsourcing just the last 30 to 60 seconds first.
Wow.
And I make sure that my instructions were good enough for that portion, because I used to be on camera at the end of my videos just to for like the last 60 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just had them edit that single part, the easiest part. Once I make sure my instructions were good and they can do that, then I scaled up to the next last part of the video. That was the next easiest part to edit.
Yep.
Once they proved that they could do that and my instructions were good, I slowly expanded that to the entire video. Somewhere along the lines, I got thumbnail designers by looking at my thumbnails and seeing what patterns emerged and trying to verbalize that to them into like a really systematic SOP. And then I moved on to eventually writing. That was the hardest, definitely, or it was perceived to be the hardest in my head. And that's kind of how I ended up where I'm at today.
Okay.
Where I have a pretty big team and we're putting out way more videos.
Very smart. Very smart, man. I mean, we talk to people all the time, even just businesses or entrepreneurs, and they're always like, it's just a one-man show. And we're like, okay, you got to get some help. You know, what's the first place to start? Easiest task that you do. Put them down, hire it out, right? So you did that. Great job, man. Straight up.
I want to ask specifically about your videos because, and you actually said this was the last thing that you said that you kind of outsourced was the script writing.
Yeah.
How do you even go about doing that? Because the video editors, like there's so many websites you can outsource to. Of course, you have to test different editors out and figure out what works and things like that. But like script writing, how do you even go about doing that?
That's a good question. So there's, and you're correct, there's no pool of YouTube script writers out there.
Exactly.
And if there are, they're going to be extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And you're going to be completely dependent on them if you hire them. So the majority of writers you'll find online they took the only jobs they could find, which is usually writing for blogs or writing for SEO style articles to rank on Google.
Yep.
They don't have experience writing YouTube videos. So I had to take those writers and train them from the ground up. So when I hired them, the only thing I was concerned about was not if they wrote YouTube videos in the past. I was more concerned about them having a strong baseline understanding of English in their writing. Like I could read samples that they wrote before and I could tell like this person, English is their first language. They know they can write decently. So I wanted them to have a good foundation. And then I did the same thing that I did with outsourcing video editing or thumbnails or whatever. I looked at all my scripts and I tried to look at what patterns emerge. All my videos are broken down with a hook, and then we go through the story in some particular pattern, and then we usually end it in some particular pattern. So I think I did the exact same thing. I wrote an entire video. I left the last part empty, and I made some instructions for the writer. I recorded some screen captures explaining my thought process behind writing. I asked them to watch some of my recent videos to get a grip on my writing style. And then I had them write just the last part.
Okay.
I reviewed their writing. I gave them any feedback so they improve. And then I slowly scaled that out to the entire script.
Wow. And okay, so how recent has it been that you're kind of off?
It's been maybe 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
I appreciate it.
So you're just chilling now.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with the ideas? Because that's still part of what you do, right?
I would say the ideas, like the raw video idea and the direction for the title thumbnail, that's where I still add the most value.
Okay.
Because now it's not terribly hard to like make a video on YouTube. Like there's so many video editors out there and stuff, and people can eventually learn how to write the video themselves. So the real value add for me is picking the video idea. Yeah. And what is mentioned earlier, title, thumbnail. So what was your question? Like, how do I do it?
Well, yeah. Well, how do you pick the ideas that the videos are being created about, even the concepts, right? So if it's about a certain war or a certain crime, how are you coming up with that?
So some of my writers send me ideas as they find them.
Okay.
So that really helps. And then I think what makes a good video idea are two things.
Okay.
One type of good video idea could be a video that has never been made on YouTube before, like a topic that just hasn't been covered on YouTube before.
And you're simply just searching to see if it's there to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one thing that makes a good video idea. The other route you have is to cover something that's already been covered on YouTube, but just have a different take.
Okay.
Because, again, it's all about being different.
Mm-hmm.
You can be different by covering something that people haven't covered on YouTube yet, or you can just have a different argument, a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I look for with video ideas.
And then when it comes to even the other channels that you have, you're doing the same thing, same role?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and to make those channels, I went through the same thought process to create the niche for my current channel. Like for the food channel, I looked at, because I was really into like alternative health and stuff, but I saw a gap in the marketplace where on YouTube for all this alternative health content, you really only had like old white guys and young women to
It's true.
to get stuff from, like Dr. Eric Berg. Nothing wrong with him, but he's not very relatable to me. And it's not very entertaining. So I saw that there was a really big gap for quality documentary style videos related to alternative health and wellness. So that's kind of how I came up with that angle. So
Cool.
And how many writers do you have on a video?
just one.
Just one. Okay.
Multiple video editors, but just one writer. Because that would be a little hard too.
Yeah,
Have
that's
multiple writers on it.
Well, because you're saying writers, so I guess that you're
Per
probably just
channel,
saying
maybe?
different writers for different channels.
Or like multiple writers for the same channel, but they just work on the same video, on a different video.
Okay.
So every writer just works on one video at a time.
Okay.
And I'd say from a business standpoint, are these people just kind of all subcontractors or?
All contractors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Damn.
W2.
So how many people would you say roughly are on the team? Although they're contractors, but how many people would you say it is total?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like 10 plus?
More than that.
Wow.
Do I want to say it? It's like, let's say above 30.
No, it's impressive.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
why we're asking, and it actually shows how much work goes into these videos.
Yeah.
When you say 30 people are behind the video, it's like, damn, it makes sense though when you watch it. You know?
appreciate it, yeah.
So you keep going. How much money when do you start making a lot of money? Because I've read a lot of stuff on you and you started making a lot of money.
Yeah. So when I was doing everything myself, I would pump out 4 videos a month.
Okay.
So 1 a week. I was averaging between YouTube ads and sponsors like $5K per video.
Okay.
And part of what my now advisor was explaining to me is that if all I did was just maintain the same quality and just doubled my output to 8 videos a month, I would instantly double my income from 20K a month to 40K. If I could triple my output from 4 videos to 12 videos, that would be whatever it is.
Yeah.
120K. Wait.
We'll get the
Whatever.
comment whatever it is guys below.
It would be a lot more.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's basically what happened. I went from like 20K a month to 100K a month. And then like some months even got to like 200K a month.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
And what's going on in your head when that's happening?
That's a good question.
Like, what are you thinking at that point? Like, that's a lot of money and you're still young, and you're just doing YouTube.
Well, during the last bull market, I will admit, I thought it was my first bull market making money, so I thought it was gonna last forever. So that was on me.
Yeah.
But obviously, I was super pumped.
Yeah. Do you like what?
What happened though? What happened? You got to break it down for us.
I mean, the bull market ended because sponsors were paying like ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
During the bull market.
And
Just
when you
throwing
say
money
bull
around.
market, it was like during the pandemic. That was the same time,
Yes,
right?
Yeah. That's when I was here a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Everyone was in Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, but sponsor like when the bull market ended, his sponsors weren't paying as much anymore. So
of course.
yeah.
Fair.
And were you ever like game planning? Okay, like what's next for me if YouTube videos aren't the thing in a couple of years for me, or maybe I stop losing, I stop getting sponsors, or the ad dollars go lower. Were you ever thinking that?
Not as much as I should have, but I think I was back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of but hold on, you're making 100, sometimes 200K a month. What are you doing with that money outside of YouTube?
So, just S&P 500 and in a high interest savings account. Nothing fancy.
Okay.
And some crypto.
cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Safe, nice and safe.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do like the classic like Lamborghini, Rolls Royce, 7,000.
Well,
Penthouse, like
I was always during this time I was nomading, so I didn't
yeah.
have a lease anywhere.
Okay, you were traveling a lot because
Yeah.
we were following each other for a couple of years now, and dude, I see you all over the place.
I still travel a lot.
Yeah.
But I actually have an apartment now.
Okay,
not,
nice.
not homeless.
Nice.
But yeah, at the time I was traveling so much, it didn't make sense for me to get a car or something.
True.
And at the time, I really believed in minimalism. I didn't like having many possessions. I still don't. I always found that gave me a lot more peace of mind because I'm not worrying about my stuff or like having a lot of stuff and maintaining it. So it was never like my cup of tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I'm starting to get more possessions now, but
Yeah.
still
Like
very
what?
minimalist compared to my friends.
What's the most expensive thing you purchased?
Well, I just leased a car, 106K, Lexus LC.
Nice.
I love it. Lease because you can write it off
Yeah.
you go.
100%
Yeah.
off of your business. Other than that, it's this watch.
Nice.
there you go.
What do we
Yeah.
got there?
It's from GP, Gerard
Okay.
Perregaux.
Okay.
So it's one of the top 5 watchmakers, aside from the popular ones like AP or
Sure.
Rolex.
Sure.
I love skeleton watches and I love rose gold. So yeah.
For anyone listening right now, he's dressed like a stud right now. You gotta see this guy. Looks like one of the Backstreet Boys 10 years ago, no? So I'm Googling you, right? I'm Googling you yesterday, the day before, and I see this video and it says the world's most evil YouTuber. And I
Yeah.
see your face. I'm like, bro, that's my guy. What's so bad about him? What did he do? So talk to us about when things start getting controversial in your YouTube journey.
Yeah, so it was never about my content, like the content of the videos themselves, like war or whatever. I started getting heat for sponsors.
Okay.
Because so a lot of my videos expose industries. So I typically use that as a way to promote like a good company, or at least what I thought was a good company. So I didn't make the best choice on some sponsors. Later that I realized, and like a bunch of channels started making videos on me, starting with CoffeeZilla, and it was a very easy way to spin a narrative that this YouTuber that exposes bad stuff is now promoting bad stuff himself. So yeah, that's kind of the origin of it.
So it was like the sponsors and stuff you were working with.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them was a bad apple.
Yeah.
Was there one
And
specifically?
There were a few that like CoffeeZilla
And
originally
obviously it
mentioned.
wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
You're just trying to make money with your page, working
Yeah.
with brands.
Yeah, one of them was an NFT project. I got caught up in the NFT craze
Yeah.
as anyone did. So I promoted one project. So that didn't end too well. And then another one was a high yield savings account where they incentivize people to save money by, instead of just paying out the interest monthly, they pay it out in lottery rewards.
Okay.
So it kind of gamified savings, even though on average you ended up with the same amount of savings as any other savings account, and it was FDIC insured. So I put that in a video about, what was it about? Oh yeah, how the lottery is a scam, and how you should use a savings account because you're guaranteed to at least get the same average savings rate or more. So there was that and a few other ones like that too.
But how do you feel about that? Because like when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, you're promoting something. Maybe at that point you don't know that company is not maybe trustworthy or anything like that, right? So, and maybe people buy into it. But at the end of the day, I believe that people have to also do their own due diligence when they're watching stuff. Like just because maybe I followed you for 10 years, but just because you tell me to buy something, I'm not going to just buy it.
Yeah.
So did you ever feel that way too? Did you ever feel like the heat you were getting was unfair?
I definitely did, and I definitely felt the same way you did. But what I came to realize was, in this world, the truth doesn't matter. All that matters is optics. And optically, it was not like the best move on my part.
Did you ever speak to CoffeeZilla?
No, he typically reaches out to people that he like makes videos on for like comment, but he never reached out to me.
I saw you did like an apology or something, and then you said like, hey, it doesn't even matter or something. Like you apologized to CoffeeZilla, and you're like, yeah, but it doesn't mean anything.
I made a community post.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious too. But then he made a video on that. So in retrospect, should I have said what I said in the community post?
Yeah.
Maybe there was a better way to handle it, but it is.
Here's the thing too, is like, this is everyone's first time at this thing called life, you know? So as much as people want to judge you, if they were in your position, they're taking those deals.
Yeah. That's another thing that I thought.
Like,
too,
But
and even CoffeeZilla, even Spencer, we had Spencer Cornelia on the pod, right? And even he was saying too, because he got called out for a bunch of shit. His boys that were promoting, you know, FTX and who was it? Graham Stephan.
FTX, Graham Stephan, a couple guys,
whatever. And you know, it's like maybe sometimes it's malicious. Maybe the person sometimes actually knows, but you know, from what we've learned now in the past 6 months, for the most part, nobody fucking knows.
Yeah.
No one really knows what's like FTX.
Yeah.
How are you gonna know that? You have Kevin O'Leary, Tom Brady.
Well,
and that's what Spencer said too. He's like, how come no one's going at Tom Brady?
Well, I like when it comes to like CoffeeZilla and that investigative niche in YouTube. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Spencer said he doesn't even want to do it anymore.
Yeah, he's just doing it to make a living. But like, I look at
right?
a guy
So it's
like
you start making money doing a certain piece of content that works, but then let's say you don't even like doing that content, but you have to keep doing it to pay the bills. But yeah, again, like they're doing their own content to make money too.
Yeah.
So CoffeeZilla has to call you out so that he has a video that week.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about that type of content though?
I'm not
being on the receiving end of it now.
Well, even before that, I was never a fan. Like, I would never do that myself. You know, I talk about like, you know, big corporations and stuff, but never like targeted at like this like small person that's trying to make a living or whatever. So a little bit too negative for me. I see why people like it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not for me.
Yeah, well, people like it because there is that emotional factor to it.
Oh, super emotional.
Like the aha, got him type of, you know what I mean?
There's a negative connotation, which we were saying too, which there's a cycle right now, which if you have this negative content, negative thumbnails, titles, that gets the views.
Yeah. And on top of that, it really appeals to people who, because it like justifies people's failures.
Of course.
I was gonna say hate their lives. People who hate their lives are like, oh, well, this guy fucked up too, so like my life's not that bad.
Or like it's impossible to get rich without like doing scummy stuff.
Yeah.
True.
Well,
True.
Listen, like Spencer really put it in perspective for us too when he mentioned Tom Brady. He's like, you guys are getting mad at Graham Stephan, but imagine how much influence Tom Brady has over FTX and how many people believed in it because of him, but no one's calling him out.
And how much more money he got paid. Yeah.
Right. Come on. Right.
Like crazy. And I also think like at the end of the day, you didn't promote anything that you didn't believe in.
Yeah.
At that time.
So NFTs, every NFT project died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at that time, it was a project that you probably believed in.
Yeah.
So like to promote that, like I don't really think there's really a negative aspect to it. And then it goes back to what you're saying, where it's up to the person to do their due diligence at the end of the day. You didn't put a gun to anyone's head and say, buy this NFT project.
Yeah.
Right?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
We got you, bro.
We're just gonna blast it.
Because I saw all the videos. I'm like, bro, these guys are like going crazy at him right now. I'm like, what did he do, right? And then I actually read it was about just some sponsors and stuff, right? But I mean, during that time, how many people were promoting NFTs and crypto? Like everyone with a platform.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of your channels, I know like your big thing is like, you have your course. Is it launched already?
Yeah.
Is it mentorship? Is it a course? What?
So the first thing we launched at the start of this year or late December was a 6-week live coaching program where they got a call with me for 6 weeks. I gave them a 7th week for free.
Cool.
And basically by the end they had their own channel with their first faceless video published.
Cool. Oh, amazing. So you actually got
guide them through the whole thing.
Yeah.
One video went out. Okay.
Cool.
And what made you want to start doing that? Because it's funny. We've had guests on and we always talk about this. I always wonder, like, people who are making a lot of money doing something specific, whether it's like the e-com drop shipping guys or it's traders or it's whatever, like if you're making so much money doing something, why go out and create a course? And I'm not saying this to try to catch you in an aha moment. I'm actually just genuinely curious.
Yeah. So 2 sides of the puzzle. So one is I have all these channel ideas, and I could try to create them all myself, but I'm not really interested in that.
Fair.
So that's one reason. Another reason is, you know, I'm making so much money on my own already. I've kind of met my material goals. Like,
Cool.
Like there's not that much more I could get. There are some things, but
yeah.
So I thought, you know, why not help more people? And I mean, the selfish reason is it does make money.
There you
So,
go. Yeah.
I always like to acknowledge like both the selfless and selfish side of things. So
Yeah. But I think it like when I ask that, I think, hey, if you have the knowledge to share and you can monetize it, do it. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing by any means. It's just funny. Like, a lot of times no one wants to say the quote unquote selfish reason, which I don't think it's selfish, by the way. You want to make more money. So does everyone else.
But you're also helping people while
But
you're making
that's
money.
what I'm saying. You're not selling them a bad product. If you truly, again, believe that your course is going to help somebody. And by the way, I've never, and I'm not saying no one has this, but I've never seen a course or a program where you actually like, help them like hit the ground running.
Yeah. I would say, I can say with confidence, it's the best program out there right now. So part of the challenge was whoever made the best video, I would give them a free shout out on my channel.
Cool.
There were so many good videos that I couldn't choose. So I picked 4 winners.
Nice.
Okay.
So yeah. And the channels are pretty incredible and they're taking off on their own too from the very first upload. So one channel that won was called Salt and Pepper Economics. So he made a video called The Absurd History of Salt on how, today salt is a commodity that everyone has in their kitchen. But before, it was like wars would be fought over it.
Wow.
And kingdoms would rise and fall because of salt, just because of how important it is.
Wow.
And he made a video on it and it blew my mind. So
I love those kind of videos, to be honest. Those are sick. Was there like a standout student that you had?
Yeah,
That was
definitely
him?
him.
Yeah.
Another one was a channel called Holy Histories. So one of the ways I teach to come up with a untapped channel idea is kind of like the video ideas. One, you can find a channel idea that people just haven't done yet. Another is to take an existing niche or channel and just put your own spin on it. And I teach them how. So that's what the Salt and Pepper Economics channel did. They took an existing niche of like history and economic videos and put their own spin on it. Holy Histories, he made a faceless channel going over Christian history of the Bible and stuff. Surprisingly, there's no channel like this out there.
Wow.
And Christianity is the biggest religion in the world. So, and he just like nailed the video.
Yeah.
From like the editing to the writing, and it was really good.
And how did you know it was time for a product like the course? Where you were getting a lot of inquiries? Because I'm asking, just because there might be someone watching that might be thinking about creating something using their platform, but they don't know when the right time is.
Yeah, it's been something that was on my mind for the past year, because I remember actually going to, it might have been the Bitcoin conference here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I met up with a bunch of other people on YouTube, and one guy with a million subs or something was like, it was our first time meeting, and he was like, "So Jake, I hear you're the guy to talk to when it comes to scaling content."
Wow.
And I only tell my super close friends about this stuff. So somehow he found out. So I knew that there was something there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people were wondering and curious about it.
And I'm curious now, like you mentioned the guy who was working on Wolf of Wall Street's team, your advisor.
Yeah.
So how does that, like, what relationship do you have there? Because I feel like just from the things you're saying and the way that you kept mentioning him, very pivotal things in your business were sort of, I don't want to say created, but maybe the idea was jump-started by him.
He's definitely one of the smartest people I've ever met.
Okay.
And he has this like unique ability to just like figure out problems in his head.
Okay.
It's very strange. He would be a good guest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's down, but I can ask.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And yeah, I just like explain whatever problem I'm having to him, and he gives me a solution, and it happens to work. So
Okay.
yeah.
And when it came to the 6-7 week course that you have, how did you go about building that out? What did that process look like?
I partnered with someone who's really good at internet marketing.
Okay.
So he kind of came up with the general structure of it
Okay.
and like the offer and stuff. And I just implemented everything and put it into my own style. Like, my own
So
branding.
at this point now, how many students have you had? Do you know?
Yeah, for that initial thing, we had a max of 1,000 students,
Nice.
and we sold out in like 11 days.
What?
Nice.
Yeah,
That's massive, man.
yeah, pretty crazy.
So is the content more profitable for you now, or is the course?
Right now they're pretty even. Yeah,
I mean, that's good news.
yeah.
That's good news. Eh?
That's
He
crazy.
just says it with a smile on his face and just dying.
But sorry, quickly, I want to say, so like, is this guy your business partner now, or is he still just like an advisor? Like,
I just advisor.
okay. And I don't mean to dig too deep, but I ask because it almost feels like sort of like a mentorship as well.
Yeah.
In a way. And that's always something like you always hear some of the most of the most successful people in the world have a mentor to some extent.
Yeah, he's definitely my mentor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this all came through a DM?
An email. A cold email.
Sorry,
yeah.
yes, an email. Yeah, you told us earlier. Wow. And how long ago was that?
I think it's 3 years.
3 years. And since then, your business sounds like it's like 100x.
Yeah. Definitely 10x. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's
Semantics.
been in an upward trajectory since then. So you obviously see the value. And would you recommend somebody or anybody trying to do anything find themselves a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. To this day, I still have many coaches in my life. Like I do boxing and Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And I've realized that the secret to life is just to find a really good teacher that you trust and literally just go all in and blindly follow them.
Mm-hmm.
Like go in with no ego. I think that's really my strength in life is I'm just always the best student.
Yeah.
I'm always the best learner because like when I find a good teacher, I literally just go all in. I'm not there to like try to like prove myself or anything. I just try to really download all of their knowledge as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I highly recommend a mentor. A really good quote from Taoism, the Chinese philosophy thing, is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is truly ready, the teacher will disappear.
Wow.
Nice.
I have to get that tatted.
I like that.
No?
You know what? Like I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we need some fucking mentors, bro.
We've had them. They've just been. It hasn't really been like, someone like throughout the whole time. We've
Yeah.
had different ones at different times.
Yeah, true. That's
You
true.
know, and I feel like
true.
that's also a way to do it too. As you grow,
Yeah, I think that's natural. Yeah.
right? You just require different mentors. So what's like your plan? Like what's your long-term vision? And by long-term, you're still so young. So like, you know, next 5 years, like do you have any plans to build some sort of, you know, company that will outlive you? Anything like that?
Immediate focus is definitely the coaching program and the channels. I'm launching a physical product for the food channel soon.
Cool.
Consumable.
Cool.
It's a product that I really want to use myself, so I'm really excited.
It's a physical product.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's gonna launch in the next few weeks, hopefully.
Okay. Does anyone know at all?
No, only
Okay.
my super close friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, that would be a company that we're gonna really build up, multiple product lines, the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
So that's really exciting. And then I'm planning maybe to do kind of like a shift in my personal brand.
Okay.
Maybe be on camera more. I don't want to say too much right now, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you're on camera now.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Getting
starting
started.
up.
No, getting started.
Yeah.
So, you do like faceless content. That's what you call it?
Yeah.
Faceless content. And do you find that can grow faster than, because we actually tell people the other way. We say, you know, brands should have a face.
So I went through this whole dilemma when
Yeah.
I was like, when I quit my job and went all in. For me personally, at the time, I realized that my face on camera throughout the whole video is not going to be as interesting as me editing every single second of it.
True.
So that was kind of the initial idea behind it.
Okay.
What I realized was I really enjoyed not having to film.
Yeah.
Because when you just record audio into a microphone, it's much more chill
Stress free.
thing
Yep.
versus like having a set of cameras, making sure the focus is in, lighting, etc. You have to make sure you're dressed right and stuff. It's just a lot more chill just to record your voice or have a voiceover actor.
Okay.
But at the start, I still wanted the best of both worlds, so that's why I show my face at the end.
the end, yeah.
But like with the food channel, we have no face at all,
True.
and it's still going
Smashes.
super well.
Yeah. True. So would you recommend, let's say, someone that's starting a YouTube channel, if they had to choose one or the other?
For my coaching program, I like focus it on the faceless aspect because
Okay.
a lot of people just don't want to show their face.
Yeah.
But you can do either way.
Yeah.
It depends on if you're comfortable being in the public eye.
True.
Because some people are just straight up not comfortable at all.
Or shy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're saying you're going to make a switch in your personal brand.
Maybe not yet. We'll see.
We're holding it to you. We're gonna clip this back.
You're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You can't give us any hints though.
It's the same thought process. I see a huge gap in the marketplace that I happen to be able to fill.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on.
And how do you like, and this is something we were talking about the other day, you know, when it comes to risk management and spending money, you know, did you find yourself investing a lot of money into your business, reinvesting it?
No. Because my advisor was super strict with me on how you should stay profitable the entire time.
Okay.
So I outsourced in a way where I knew I was going to make more money than I spent on the hire. So I always kept really healthy margins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we're like we're like gambling degenerates. We actually just spend everything. No, but we spend obviously within reason. Like the company needs to continue running, of course. And on our side, we've always just thought that reinvesting back into the business made sense when it makes sense. Like not like you make 700 grand and then you go buy a Lamborghini because you're telling yourself like, well, it's gonna make me look cooler and my brand's gonna be. No, like as soon as you can hire, you've been waiting to hire somebody, and as soon as it becomes like you get to a point where you can hire that person, you hire them. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the way we saw
like
it.
we're saying like we don't wait to do it. Like we'll just, if we want to hire someone like this month, we won't say like, okay, let's see how it goes in 3 months, which a lot of people do, right? What mindset do you have? Are you like go like right now, or do you think about it a lot and then make a decision?
So the way I think about it is whoever I hire, they should make 5 times more money than what it cost me.
Okay, so if you're hiring someone $5,000 a month, they got to make you 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
And I do the math beforehand.
Yeah.
Of course.
Damn. Okay. I like it.
Okay, we got some rapid fire for you, bro.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah. Fire it up.
Let me brighten this up a bit. Okay. I'll start it up. What's the most uncomfortable situation you've faced due to your online persona?
Most uncomfortable. Definitely the whole controversy stuff, because I never had a problem with hate comments, but that was like a lot of hate comments and like videos being made of me. So I would be lying if I didn't say that was a lot of pressure.
Did you feel like you had to rebuild trust with your audience after that at all? Or was it like you still had your core community?
Still had my core community.
Okay.
I mean, the people who were fans of like the haters that were making the videos,
They weren't watching you anyways.
Yeah, they were gonna leave anyway. So
yeah, true. Okay.
If you can go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Good question. I thought about this question before. I can't remember it right now.
He's like, I'm young right now, bro.
I know. You know, what would you tell 14-year-old Jake?
I think what I said earlier, like be the best student.
Yeah.
Even though he already was the best student.
Be better.
Better one, yeah.
Yeah, because I found that to be the greatest hack in life. I've accelerated my progress so much just because I literally just find a good teacher and I go all in on them with no ego. The way I think about it is I literally treat their words as scripture, where I just don't pretend like I know better. I just like do what they say and shut up, and that's it.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's a good way to be, bro. What's the biggest misconception people have about you, and what would you like them to know?
Probably this. All these videos calling me a scammer, even though there are plenty of people that did like way worse than me, and made way more money than me. I think that would be it. Yeah.
Okay. What's the most money you've made in 1 month?
Do I really want to say this? I think during the bull market, it was like 325K.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Spicy. I like it.
Should have called me that month, bro. What's your favorite video you've created?
That's a good question. One of them is definitely the Julian Assange one.
Okay.
Just because I care about the story, as well as I was really happy with how we did the storytelling. Like it was just a really exciting video. That's one of them. Another video I made on this book called The Fourth Turning. Okay. That it was written in the 90s, but it predicted a lot of the chaos we're in today. Okay. And explains how human history happens in 100-year cycles, where it starts with a high, then an awakening, then a 25 each of these are 25 years, then an unraveling, and it always ends with a crisis. The last crisis ended with World War II, and if we project the cycle out, it's gonna end again in like the late 2020s, so a few years out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So bunker up, grab some fucking guns.
You're going to have a lot of ideas for content this year, bro. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, that one, it was the most complex thing to write about because we're dealing with like, the book talks about like different generations and how they interact with each other. It was the most complex thing.
So do you think we're on track to do it again?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, just look around. Okay, dream collaboration.
Dream collaboration. I've never been like super obsessed with collaborating.
Yeah, okay.
I usually just have experts on the channel that are experts on the topic we happen to be talking about. I've never been too obsessed with like chasing a collab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Best piece of advice you've ever received?
That's a tough one. There's so many good
You
advice.
probably got lots, right?
You know, for all the hate Grant Cardone gets, I still really love his books.
Okay.
And you know, the 10x rule and be obsessed or be average, those really helped me. Where if you want to be successful, you have to be obsessed. You have to be more obsessive than the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really embrace that in my life. Like I just allow myself to be super obsessive over stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that contributed a lot to my success.
True. So even touching on that, do you believe like the balance of work and life? You believe in there's a even balance, or you believe if you want to be great at something, you're gonna have to be obsessed for 5-10 years?
I think it ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to be really focused on just work when I first started, but now I can have a little bit more balance.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite hobby outside of work?
Martial arts.
Yeah.
Because of so many different things. What philosophically, I think it's our responsibility to be able to be violent.
Mm-hmm.
It's our responsibility to protect,
Yeah.
aside from just providing, which is pretty easy in the modern world. And I think men need like a violent outlet, like a controlled violent outlet. I think the world would be a lot more peaceful if men had that.
If more men did martial arts, huh?
Yeah.
If I get in a fight, I'm calling you.
All right.
You got me. LA or Miami?
I personally like LA. It's just I'm like a more creative person and more influencers over there.
But let me ask you something now, because you understand politics very well.
Yeah.
Really, LA?
Miami's definitely better in that respect.
Of course.
But
Tax? You don't like to make more money? Come on.
He's like, bro, my company is registered in Wyoming.
No, seriously though, because like you're super open-minded. You understand what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
So for you to say LA, like I know you grew up there and you lived there, but I'm a bit surprised.
yeah,
And you must know a lot of people are leaving too.
I do. But
We want you here. Listen, I'm saying this just because we want you here, man. You know?
I don't know. It just feels more like home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you born and raised there?
I was born in Vietnam, but
Okay.
I grew up the first half of my childhood in Orange County, south of LA,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the other half in Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
See you in Miami soon, bro. By next year, you're here.
Money or fame?
Both.
Yeah.
Pretty
You're the first person that said that, which is to be honest, just being honest. Yeah, I respect that.
Because like
Both.
well, one reason is all my closest friends in my life have come from YouTube.
Okay.
And they're like the coolest friends I could ever ask for.
Yeah.
Super grateful for them. And that only happened because, people knew me.
Yeah.
yeah, fair. And then the money is just the money.
Let me ask you one. Let me ask you one more. Then we're gonna get to the main question. If you could time travel, where would you go and why?
Would I time travel? I mean, I feel like our time is like the best time in history.
Yeah.
We go into the future, AI takes over. We go into the past, people are suffering a lot more.
Fair.
You might be
You stay right here then.
you know what? It's a very positive outlook.
It is,
And
it
I
is.
like that because we need more of that today. I feel like everyone is living in such a negative, the ideology is so negative. Like we were saying, negative content, and that just keeps people in this shell of believing that we're in the worst times ever. But we're literally sitting in a fucking beautiful penthouse in Miami right now, high ceilings. Look outside, the waters, yachts, and all this stuff. It's like, and it's not just us. There's hundreds of thousands, millions of people here doing the same thing. You know, poverty's at the lowest level it's ever been. You know, things like that. So I like that. I like you saying that where you'd stay right here.
I appreciate it. And I mean, I make videos on like the negative stuff of today, but it's still definitely the best time ever in history.
Yeah.
Easiest time to make money. Easiest time to climb the social ladder.
And but even the negative content you make, it's not negative. It's still educational.
Yeah.
You know? I got you, bro.
Well, you're just
I got this guy, bro. I got this. I'm your new advisor now, by the way. You don't even know, but we signed the contract. It's done.
All right.
Well, with that being said, first of all, Jake, I appreciate you coming out and doing this, heading out from LA. Means a lot. Like I said, I've been watching your content a lot for a very long time. And when I followed you, and we set this up for a while. So I'm just happy that we were able to do
Thanks
this.
for
But
coming, bro.
Of course, we always end it with our famous question. We're the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness. So I want to know if Jake Tran believes money buys happiness.
I was wondering if you're going to ask this. I think that if you look at monks, you can be happy anytime. You can truly be happy at any time if you really, really want it to be. I will say if you live in the modern world in a city or whatever, it's kind of hard to be happy if you're homeless or if you can't support your parents. That's pretty rough. So I think if you're not going to go like the monk route, then I think money sets you up to be happy.
Yeah. It's a means to an end.
Yeah. It's not going to give you the happiness, but you know, me supporting my parents, being able to fund the stuff that I want to do, that brings me a lot of happiness.
What's the next rave you're going to?
Ibiza.
Nice.
Oh, the best in the world.
Nice. Well, once again, man, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And guys, you made it this far, and I know you did. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, okay? You've seen Jake. I don't need to tell you where to go. You know what his channel is. You know what to do. It'll all be in the description as well. And with that being said, Jay,